The Joe Rogan Experience.
Bread used to just be food. When the fuck did bread become bad for you?
It's evil shit.
You know, there's the conspiracy theory that it's glyphosate that's fucking people up. That it's not. See what that is all about? Because I've heard people talk about that.
What is it? Like
I think Robert Kennedy Jr. was talking about that. Who was talking about glyphosate? Glyphosate is Roundup. Roundup is that stuff that they spray.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, that
the
can't
stuff's
be true.
super bad for you, right?
There's no way there's Roundup.
But hold on. If they use it on these plants, where does it go? Do they wash it off? Like, what kind of residual effect does that stuff have?
Sure.
On the food you eat?
Or plastics.
Could you imagine if that was what was going on? And that's why, like, European people don't look like us?
Oh, yeah.
More than half the products oh shit.
Wow.
More than half the products tested had detectable levels of glyphosate above 10 parts per billion. 45 out of 86 products contained detectable levels of glyphosate. Ranges were from 12 parts per billion to 1,150 parts per billion. Organic foods are much less likely to have trace amounts of glyphosate. However, it is appearing in low levels in some cases.
It's crazy.
Damn, they got you perfect. That was nice. The pop-up was the timed pop-ups.
Fucking.
Yeah. So there's glyphosate in foods. It gets trace amounts of glyphosate.
That's insane.
Glyphosate in popular bread, oats, legumes, protein powders, and bars 2022. Holy shit.
That's everything you have. Or you have the protein powers.
Dude, all that stuff.
Yeah.
How wild is that? Because it's like, it's a really common chemical that's used, and it's really bad for you. And if that's I don't know. I mean, is there a kind of organic wheat that you know is 100% glyphosate free? And if you ate that, would you feel different?
I bet there is. I bet.
Or are these trace amounts of glyphosate that aren't really affecting you? Like, I wish I knew. I mean, like, it sounds scary when they're talking about parts per billion, but I wish, like, a scientist would go, not a lot.
Right. It's like those microplastics. When I start reading about microplastics and stuff like that, I start freaking out.
Do you know how much we eat every week?
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's a credit card.
Yeah.
We eat a credit card.
Craziness.
I wish I could remember. I read someone said that it's not a misinterpretation, but that's like the highest end it could be as a credit card. I think when they'd
So
read
like
into
somebody
it,
who eats microwave.
and they even like the way they got that number was like studying clams or something like that, and then did a math problem. I can't think of the word right now to figure out what it would be like in humans if it was the same size.
Oh.
That's how they got.
So
that
there's
number.
a little fuckery
There's
involved.
a little.
All of
But
it's
I don't
a
know. Like, but
wee-
there is some. So like
a
I
wee
wanna say
bit of
it's not
fuckery.
untrue, but it seemed like there was a little bit of like a.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Well, credit card seems like a lot.
like a whole lot.
And how much stays in your body and how much do you shit out?
Right. I bet you'd shit a lot of it out.
Like 99.9% probably.
But what if you don't?
Yeah.
You know? Plastics and stuff in your body. Like,
See, here's like the article, but like, for weirdly, it starts off saying globally we are ingesting an average of 5 grams. So it's an average too. And the weird is globally.
right. Globally, like maybe some parts of the world are higher.
Yeah, like us.
I think we'd be pretty high.
Yeah.
If you're getting it from like microwaving food with plastic on it, we got to be high as fuck.
Yeah.
We've been doing that for a long time.
And plastic forks and this little plastic
Yeah.
containers your food comes in, the
Yeah.
to-go boxes.
There's always like little pieces of plastic somewhere. I guarantee you.
Even this article says it's just Australians. It says Australians ingest a credit card, not everyone. So I don't know, you know.
Well, is that an article from Australia?
Well, an Australian analysis says that. So.
Interesting.
Can you really trust those Australian analyses?
Can't anymore. Yeah, I'm worried though. Well, I'm worried also because I had that Dr. Shanna Swan lady on the podcast who talked about what plastics and these chemicals like phthalates are doing to the reproductive systems of people. Did you ever hear about that?
Yeah,
You know what this lady?
I think I heard about it from.
She's got this book called Countdown, and it's all about what plastics are doing to people's reproductive systems.
Right. Yeah, my girlfriend is obsessed with all that shit, and she thinks we're dying from it.
Well, we're changing.
Yeah.
We're changing. This is the problem is it's dropped men's sperm counts 50% lower than they were in like the 1950s. Women have more miscarriages, and men's taints are shrinking.
That's a good thing.
No.
I want my asshole right next to my dick. Masturbate, you just put your finger in there the whole pick it up like a bowling ball.
That's bad because the closer the taints are, it's the more feminizing of the male. This is what it is like in mammals, and I'll probably fuck this up. My apologies in advance. In mammals, male taints are between 50 and 100% larger than the females. So that's one of the best ways that they detect whether or not a mammal, like a puppy, is a boy or a girl. The taint is bigger. But in men, over the last X amount of years, they've been shrinking. And they've been shrinking steadily, which is an indication. Penis sizes are shrinking, testicles are shrinking, sperm counts dropping like 50% lower. And at the same time, this is the introduction of petrochemical products like plastics and stuff like that, and eating out of plastic bottles, and drinking out of plastic bottles, eating out of plastic plates. Like that, all this stuff has entered into the bloodstreams, and they've found in studies in mammals that when they introduce these phthalates to mammals, their offspring are affected. The reproductive systems are affected. It's wild shit, dude. Because it's like we're doing something weird to the human organism, and we're doing it through plastics, and we're just now finding out about it. Like, we're only finding out about this over the last, I think we talked about this, I always forget. I want to say like 2015, right? It was not that long ago that they discovered this.
Nuts.
So she wrote this whole book about it, and she's a really funny lady, too. She's got like a thing on her Instagram called the Jizz Quiz. And it's all about, like a quiz on like how much men's sperm counts have dropped over the last 50 years. And it's like, whew.
So weird.
It's wild because it's just, it's unavoidable. Like, we're just accustomed to consuming a certain amount of plastics and having plastic chemicals in our body.
How's the connection of that, though? Could it be something else, like,
They're really sure that phthalates do that.
Oh.
And phthalates are some of the chemicals that you get from, like, plastics. And I think some pesticides affect the body in a similar way. There's, like, a lot of shit that we encounter that fucks with reproductive systems. And so when they did it with animal studies, it showed that the males all came out like more feminine and with smaller taints and the whole deal. And it's all about how many, what kind of chemicals the mother has in her body when she conceives. It's wild stuff, man, because it's like the implications are if we don't stop using them, that we're going to change the species over plastic. Like, it'll change what it means to be a male human. Because it won't be like a male human used to be before plastics. It's crazy. If that really, imagine if it's like unavoidable. You can't get it out of humans. And it's just going to keep feminizing males and turning their taints into smaller and smaller little patches of land.
Well, then finally, it doesn't matter, we could have guys and girls play the same sports together. Right?
One day. Maybe that's where we're headed.
Yeah, maybe it's already started.